Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's November 20th, 2016. Got some good news for you before we decode the propaganda out of San Antonio. The good news is the Truth Seeker Network Revolution campaign, a little more than a month old. It's been a tremendous success. We've raised nearly $10,000. Thank you to everyone who has contributed. The website and application that are the purpose of the campaign, they're being built and they will be finished by December 15th, 2016, less than a month from today. It's going to be a very professional product. It's going to be very successful in getting us organized and mobilized. That is the goal, to organize the truth seekers by community, making a human network so that we can take action to make this world the better place we want it to be, that we need it to be. So, days ahead, I'll have a lot of new details. We're going to be running a t-shirt campaign with the name of the website. If you buy one of those t-shirts, those funds will be used to maintain the website. We are anticipating that there will be rapid growth for this website, this application. It's going to be very professional. It's going to be very user-friendly. It's going to be Facebook, but a million times better, a million times cleaner, and for truth seekers. So, right now, so many of you who use things like Facebook, you're probably not comfortable, a lot of you, sharing things truth-related because you'll be ridiculed by your friends and your family. This is going to be the network where you can feel safe, where everyone's there for the same purpose, and you'll be able to search and see who's in your town, who's in your city, who's in your county. For those of you who feel like it's just you and your community of 50,000 to 100,000 people, you're the only truth seeker out there and everyone else thinks you're crazy. So many of us feel that way. For all the people like that, this website, it's going to be for them because they're going to go and they're going to see, oh, wow, there's 20 people on here. There's 50 people on here from my community who are just, miles away, blocks away. Think about how powerful that'll be. So anyway, lots of details coming. December 15th, the day. We're going to have a campaign to raise more money because we're going to need this money. It is expensive to host a professional website. If we have traffic in the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands, look, if there's 50,000 people a year who use this website the way we intend, to host that, it's going to be at least $2,000 a year in ongoing maintenance fees. And $2,000 to make this happen for 50,000 people, that's not really that much money. That's just an addition to what it already costs to build it and everything else. So anyway, we're going to need to raise money to finance it. But the thing is, if we grow, if our numbers get huge, because I'm planning on inviting, everybody out there, even all the channels who talk trash about me and hate me and don't like my work, I want them to be part of this network. Because this network, it's not about me. It's about organizing everyone who's dedicated to the truth and making this world better. And, the message of this is going to be, it's about inclusion, working together, finding common ground, not dividing over our differences. The whole thing of, oh, you don't believe in this, so I don't like you or think you're a shill. It's going to be about getting beyond that, All of us as people, we have different upbringings, different perspectives, so we're never going to agree on everything. This community, it's going to be a model for coming together, I don't agree with everything that people talk about in the truth community. People are into all sorts of topics that I think, I don't think they're that important. But just because I don't think they're that important, it doesn't mean they're not important to other people. So those people, they're going to be able to be a part of this website, which is going to have a forum, and we're all going to be able to share information, find the people, that have the ideas, the thoughts, and we're going to find out together what's real, what's not, what's important, what's not. And we're going to figure out how to agree to disagree, These are all the things that are coming. So anyway, December 15th, the day. I got a lot more information to share with you in the days ahead. Just wanted to give you a little taste. Now on to the propaganda by the numbers. We have another police shooting hoax, no doubt for the ongoing agenda of Blue Lives Matter. If you're not aware of Blue Lives Matter, it's a bill that's been signed into law by some states now. Almost every state in the United States is looking at this. It's to increase essentially funding for police. It's to get more police on the streets, more cameras, more body armor, higher powered weapons, more armored police vehicles, more money for militarizing and growing the numbers of police. This is Blue Lives Matter agenda. Louisiana was the first state to go along with this. Pretty much every state in the nation is looking at this. And if you listen to the rhetoric on the news with these shootings, they're talking about how unsafe police are and how more and more people are perceiving police as the enemy and acting out against police. That's what today's story is. Today's story that supposedly a police officer, a detective, pulled over someone in front of the police headquarters building, and while he was writing the ticket, somebody pulled up behind him in a black car with black wheels, who's described as being a slim black man, and walked up to the passenger side of the officer, shooting into the car, killing him. This is all propaganda. This is all for agenda. This is all about divide and conquer, stereotypes, race war, all of the things that our media is perpetrating against us right now. Again, the people who conspire against us, they are organized. And what they are is a network of Freemasons in high places who operate by a Masonic code. The Freemasons are builders. They're into measurement. They're into numbers. They're into esoteric knowledge. They're into the spiritual texts. A spiritual practice is gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, which is very relevant to Jewish mysticism known as Kabbalah. You look at who really controls this nation, banks. You look at who controls the banks, Jewish Zionists, Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. Anyway, the entire history of this nation, it's a nation founded by Freemasons and Jewish bankers, all the way up to the present. They came over from Europe, Freemasons. All the way up to the present, our history has been contrived by the numbers. And I've been sitting here for 3 years straight, putting out blog post after blog post, video after video, showing how all of these news stories are created by the numbers. San Antonio in Gematria sums to 41, a special number. 41 is the 13th prime number. Back to school prime numbers, numbers only divisible by themselves in 1. So 41, no number divides into it besides 41 or 1. It's the 13th prime number. USA equals 41. USA, United States of America, began with 13 colonies, 13 stripes on the flag, 13 years of public school programming. The Alamo in San Antonio lasted 13 days. The Oregon standoff this year lasted 41 days. It began right after the Alamo Bowl, which Oregon lost in. And if you missed my video from back then, I predicted it would last 41 days as a tribute to the Alamo. Oregon lost with 41 points in the Alamo Bowl. Scripted sports, another thing I've been explaining. Sports, college and pro. If there's betting in Vegas on them, they're scripted. Scripted, also in accordance with what's going on in the news. Why you get an Oregon standoff at the end of the Alamo Bowl that lasts 41 days. So anyway, San Antonio 41. Today's the day that leaves 41 days left in the year. And if anyone's watched the news, every channel's saying the same thing. The police this week, instead of focusing on the holidays and Thanksgiving, they're going to be focused on the death and burying of a loved one. And, rest your heart. No one has died. They probably wheeled a dummy off the scene as they've done in the past. This is a made-up police officer, made-up name. I'm going to show you what a joke this is. Oh, by the way, the first video CNN uploaded today was 41 seconds. Something else I've been explaining for 3 years. The mainstream media codes their news story video clip lengths, the sound bites they give you, fragmented, chopped up by the numbers. This coding is real to these people. It's spiritual. For all of you who don't get it, think about how many things in this world are real that you don't get. How many spiritual practices are going on all over this world that you don't get? Do you know that Jewish people in synagogues are circumcising babies and then the men are drinking the blood off their dicks? Really? Off the little babies. There's videos of it all over the internet. This goes on all over. I don't get it. Why would you ever do that? Why would you code numbers into words? Sometimes you're not going to know the answer why. Sometimes people are insane and there's no reasonable answer why. I have theories on why they code numbers into words, by the way. There is something organic in this world happening by the numbers. And it's why the Freemasons code their stories by the numbers, honestly, to tap in to essentially this matrix of numbers happening around us. Complicated topic. See my video on myself and my own birth numbers. Interesting stuff. There's an organic layer to the numbers. But when the media creates this propaganda, they force it down our throats. Things like this. The officer who was killed His name sounds like macaroni. Benjamin Marconi equals 141. A lot of people are going to be eating macaroni on Thanksgiving. The story is that the man shot him through his passenger side. They emphasize 141. And again, they're saying he's not going to be with his family for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving 141. Benjamin Marconi 141. Thanksgiving 141. Passenger side 141. Let's not overlook the 41 number sequence in that either. San Antonio 41, we're on the day that leaves 41 days left in the year. They say he was a 20-year veteran. If there really is a detective Benjamin Marconi, he's not dead. He's done. He's probably back off to what his civilian name was before he joined the police. Because that's something else I realize about these police officers. A lot of them are in this Freemason network, and they create essentially their police identity, much like media people do, creating their new name for the media. Detective Benjamin Marconi, 20-year veteran. Now he probably gets to retire under whatever his civilian name was before he joined the police. Also very likely. Nice time to retire. End of the year before the holidays. Very likely. I mean, just think about it, you guys. They're saying that a man shot a police officer in front of the police headquarters, and now there's a national news story, and they're on the lookout for him. Had anyone shot any police officer in front of any police department in any location in this nation, they'd already be under arrest in a jail long before there was a news story out about it. So this guy with McManus, he said it was a slim black man in his 20s or 30s in a gray shirt and gray pants. Slim black man in Gematria sums to 38, like killing, like death. You know, this is a story of death. They're saying he did the killing. They're saying he's in this black car with these black wheels. I mean, where did they get this shot from? How do they have this shot, but they don't have his license plate? It's just such a joke how they put these stories before us and expect us to think that they're real. And what's worse is, that 90% of the population does think it's real. That's what's going to end, though, with the Truth Seeker Network revolution. We're going to wake up the world to these lies. We got the knowledge to expose these people. In this story, they bring up the Dallas shooting. This one's in San Antonio. They're both in Texas. The Dallas shooting was July 7th, 2016. The day after it was reported that Alton Sterling was killed in Louisiana and Philando Castile in Minnesota, that date was July 6th, which can be written 6/7. Both Alton Sterling and Philando Castile equal 67, just like Blue Lives Matter, just like Freemasonry. The Blue Lives Matter bill signed on a date with 67 numerology. Anyway, the Blue Lives Matter bill that was signed in Louisiana, it said that it was to protect police from threats, namely Black Lives Matter. Then the next day, July 7th, in Dallas at a Black Lives Matter protest parade, because of the stories the day before, which was all a controlled opposition parade created for this stage story, that parade was created for the shootings in the media the day before, 7/7, here's what's up with that. July 7th, police officer equals 77, police department equals 77. They said it was the worst loss of life for a police department since September 11th. When you write out September 11th as words, you know what? Let's just do it in case you're new here. Sometimes people probably think I'm just making this up, but let me just show you. If you write out police officer, it sums to 77. If you write out police department, it sums to 77. If you write out September 11th, got to make sure you spell right, it sums to 77. And Washington, D.C. is on the 77th meridian, known as the American meridian. The word power equals 77. You got to use this method. The alphabetic order, power is 77. Symbolic that Washington, D.C. is on the 77th meridian. But anyway, they said on September 11th, 2001, that Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon exactly 77 minutes after it took off. Supposedly, the time it took off to the time it hit the Pentagon was 77 minutes. It was Flight 77. The Pentagon's 77 feet tall, and it's on the 77th meridian. plus September 11th, 77. Plus Paul Wolfowitz had worked in the Pentagon since 77, and he is who wrote a document calling for a new Pearl Harbor for the new century. Wrote that before he became part of the Bush administration. And a lot of people don't know this, but September 11th is New Year's Day on the Coptic calendar, the Old World Christian calendar, meaning it was the new year of the new century. He said that we needed a new Pearl Harbor for the new century. His think tank was called a Project for a New American Century. Not a coincidence. So anyway, from July 7th to today's shooting in Texas is a span of 137 days. Authority equals 137. Think of police shooting the authority. Washington, D.C. equals 137. This is the federal agenda. 137 is the 33rd prime number. 41 is the 13th prime number. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Federal equals 33. Masonry 33. Secrecy 33. Order 33. Police 33. Race war 33. Remember the Rodney King beating by the LAPD? Police 33, LAPD 33. That was on March 3rd, 3-3. All throughout history, these numbers coded on divisive propaganda. This is it today. A slim black man blamed in a fictional shooting. And don't forget that we, the taxpayers, pay for these salaries, these agendas perpetrated against us. And the reason this is done to us is to pacify us to an agenda to say, okay, they need to militarize the police. They got threats. And also to piss people off and to bring up racist stereotypes that have been programmed into people. There's a reason the news says back to your regularly scheduled programming. When I was a child and you turned on the news, it was always blame a black man for this, blame a black man for that. But we could go back and go through all those stories and see that almost all of them were made up. You know, just to scare people, to divide them. So anyway, I think we covered almost all the details. What we're going to do now is watch this clip of this police officer. Just watch what a scum liar this is. Chief William McManus, MC in Jewish Gematria is 33 like police. It's no coincidence anus is in his last name. Here we go. Let's watch this guy. Let me minimize myself.
It's always difficult, especially in this day and age, where police are being targeted across the country.
You know, hold on. Got to show you something here. There's an important point I forgot to make.
This day and age, where
the date, November 20th, 2016. 11 plus 20 plus 20 plus 16 equals 67. That is a fair way to get the date numerology. Blue Lives Matter equals 67. Freemasonry 67. Blood sacrifice 67. If this man really was killed today, he was murdered by his own police department being a part of this Masonic network. But anyway, here's the 67 date numerology, just like the Philando Castile Alton Sterling thing on July 6th. Remember, that's George W. Bush's birthday too. The man who was dancing down at the Dallas funeral, former president. 67 again. Blue Lives Matter bill signed on a date with 67 numerology. This is what it's all about. This is what I've explained now. And how many videos since then? I mean, there's been a lot of these police shootings that have all been synced up with these same numbers. Here we go again.
police are being targeted across the country. And hopefully, we'll solve this one real quick. And if this individual is a danger to more police or anybody else, we'll try and get him off the street as quickly as we can.
Is this incident one of its kind? Has this ever happened before? Something like this?
It happens all the time.
When was the last time something like this happened here in San Antonio? One of our officers was killed.
We've had a number of them here where an officer was targeted. It's been several. It's been quite a few years, but we have had this happen here before.
Happens all the time. It's happened a number of times. I can't remember when. Well, anyway, I decided to look up for him. I wanted to see what the history was of police officers being killed in San Antonio. And this article was written in response to today's news. This is current right here. This is the officer supposedly killed today. If he's really dead, he was murdered by his own police department, being a part of this Freemasonic network. So anyway, the last time a police officer died was December 8th, 12/8, fateful day in history. December 8th, fateful day in history. It's the day John Lennon died and a number of other musicians. 12 is, December's the 12th month. In numerology, 12 is 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3/8, a lot like 38. Remember, 38's the number for death, killing, even slim black man. A lot of rappers have died by the number 38. Rapper equals 38. So does the word nigga, made very popular by black music. Even before rap music, it was out there. James Brown used to use it. Tupac Shakur, Notorious B.I.G., and so many other rappers dead by the number 38. And more than just that, John Lennon, Dimebag Darrell, a million others. A lot of musicians have even died on December 8th. A lot of celebrities. Death day that day. But here's what else would I notice about that date. 12 plus 8 is 20, plus 13 is 33. It was a date with 33 numerology. Police 33, Masonry 33, secrecy 33. It was also a date, if you add the 20 more, it becomes a date with 53 numerology. The word shooting has gematria 44 and 53. Again, officer 44, kill 44, shooting 44 and 53. Dead from a shooting. I didn't fully decode these names. There's probably a whole lot more to this story. I noticed right here, this date of this officer getting killed, October 29th, 2010. That's a date with a life lesson number of 42. Freemason 42. That big G in the middle of the Freemason and compass square represents 42. Freemasons controlling your police. This guy, they say he's 37 years old. Funny he died on a date with 37 numerology. Why do they, He's got those MM initials. MM. 1313 or 44. Like officer, like kill, like shooting. This man was 41 years old. San Antonio number. I don't see the connect right away with this guy. Could be overlooking it. This is the least suspicious date right here. James Bennett Jr., dead September 3rd, 1975. September 3rd, 9-3, Saturn, keeper of time. Saturn has gematria of 93 and 30. Dead at 30 on 9-3. You know what else I noticed about this date? Date with 106 numerology. Number of prophecy. Prophecy, time, numbers that often come together, 93 and 106. Big numbers in San Antonio. Spurs in gematria equals 93. Saturn's also represented by the 21st letter, U. They got those big U's on their cord on their jersey. U, the 21st letter. Spurs in Pythagorean gematria, 21. Big way, 93, just like Saturn. Saturn's also 30 with the S exception. Remember Tim Duncan, war number 21? Duncan equals 21, war 21, Spurs 21, big U on the uniform. Saturn. On my blog, one of my subscribers put up an awesome post this week about Saturn and its parallel to 13 and 31. That was a new lesson for me. I'll start teaching that one once I get more in the rhythm of it. Learned something from one of my subscribers applying the knowledge this week. But again, San Antonio 41, the 13th prime. Look at this here. Winton Culpepper, the first officer ever killed in San Antonio, was on September 11th, 1954. Did you guys notice that today's officer who was killed is 54 years old? 54. 54. That was a big number in the World Series, baseball 54. But anyway, here's what's up. September 11th. Here's why that's relevant. 911 was made the national emergency dialing code in 1968, 14 years after this man died, but 911 has always been relevant to the police, and here's why. 911 is the 156th prime number. When you write out 33 as a word, it sums to 156. And the best example of how these numbers come together is September 11th, 2001. Of course, the buildings fell down on 911. In 1968, World Trade Center construction began in New York. 911 was made the national emergency dialing code, and George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. 68 was 33 years before 2001. Space Odyssey 2001 came out in 68. When you write out 33, it sums to 156. When you write out Space Odyssey, it sums to 156. The construction firm that built the World Trade Centers, their name is Magnuson Klemenkic Associates. Their name equals 156. They built the buildings that lasted for 33 years that came down on 9/11. Very possible those buildings were built to be destroyed as they were. It's rumored that a lot of those buildings, the entire time they existed, a lot of the floors, the space, never rented out a single time. And that's very believable because if you look at the story of when those buildings were built, nobody in New York wanted them because at the time there were all these vacancies for rents and towers. So why would you build two massive 110-story buildings full of office space when there's already all this available office space? You know why they did it? Because it's all symbolism. These Freemasons are all about symbols and using them to rule over us. Divide and conquer with symbols, with esoteric knowledge. Think about what the World Trade Centers represented. Two big pillars. Two represents division. Two creates the possibility for division. New York is the 11th state. Two big ones. The World Trade Centers look like big 11s. 11, the master number, because it represents 1 and 2. Very important numbers in numerology. 11 is 1 plus 1 is 2. Anyway, the World Trade Centers look like big 11s. New York's the 11th state. They said flight AA-11 was the first to hit the World Trade Centers that day. AA-11, A is the first letter, AA-11. There's a whole lot more to the story, but this is what's going on all throughout history. Freemasons running us by the numbers, giving us propaganda to steer us. 9/11 was about steering us into needless wars, needless agenda, building a greater police state. Look at how militarized the police have become since 9/11. This is all part of the ongoing agenda. You know, scaring you more and more. They put cameras up all over the nation, and now they want to tell you people are able to kill police officers in front of police stations and get away with it. You know, that couldn't even happen back before cameras were up on every intersection. They're just making a mockery of us, people. Oh, and with regards to this man being 54 and this happening in the year 54, 54 is a relevant number. When you write out 54 as a word, it sums to 54. The only other number I know that's like that is 46, and 46 is special too. But anyway, 54, the word sun, like sun in the sky, equals 54. The word love equals 54. If you read about Thelema, Thelema worships 93, and Thelema is about do what thou wilt and love. I'm not sure what love means to them, but I know they worship 93, and they're about love, which has the Gematria 54. They tell us in science the sun is 93 million miles away. Sun 54, 93 million miles away. I see this pairing often with 93, 54, related to Saturn. In light of what I learned earlier this week about 1331 in Saturn as well, again, I'll link that post in the description so you can read what I learned. You know, it all starts to make a little more sense. And this date, September 11th, 1954, let's do the numerology together. 9 plus 11 is 20, plus 19 is 39, plus 54 is 93. Date with 93 numerology on 9/11 in the year 54. See what I'm saying? Think about the 93 World Trade Center bombing. That was synced up perfectly with September 11th, 2001. It happened on February 26th. February 26th. As we write that in the U.S., it's like 226. These are numbers we often see together too. 226 and 93. February 26th, 93 World Trade Center bombing. It came 3,119 days before September 11th, 2001. 3,119 is the 444th prime number. The reason I know all these things is just because I've been writing about it. You know, I've written like 5 books worth of information. I have 12,000 blog posts. I have 2,000 videos. I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years because I know I've figured out what these people are doing, and I'm so desperately trying to get out the information to wake people up. And by myself, I obviously can't do it. If we create the Truth Seeker Network revolution, you know, we all start working together, we're going to do it. We're going to wake everybody up. You know? So there it is, the history of dead police officers in San Antonio. If you want to apply your gematria knowledge, take these names right here, take these dates, do the math, get in the practice. I'm telling you, if this seems difficult or impossible to you, the day you take a pencil and a piece of paper and you write it out with your hand and you just get in the practice, and I do recommend doing it by hand at first, because when you do things with your hand, it'll etch into your mind better. You learn the alphabetic order and what the letters and numbers are. Once upon a time when I started this study, I never knew how far I would take it. But that's where I started. Pencil, paper. I wrote out the 50 United States and I summed them using the alphabetic order, the big way and small way. And we'll close with that just in case you want to do this exercise. I'll link this article down below, all in the description. Just take the article, take the dates, take the names. I'll even do it myself on my blog if you want to fact check. But really, if you want to cheat as well, you can just use the calculator. If you do English reduction and just type in a name, I'm just going to make up a name. The first officer killed, his name was Robert. Robert's a name with 33 gematria like police. This English reduction, what you're doing, and these are the two methods I recommend you learn. This is one, and I'll show you the second one in just a second. But anyway, the way this works is R is the 18th letter, but see how R is 9 here? It's saying R is 9, O is 6, B is 2. R's the 18th letter, 1 plus 8 becomes 9. That's why R is 9. O's the 15th letter, 1 plus 5 becomes 6. B is the second letter, so B is 2, it's already a single digit. E is 5, R's the 18th becomes 9, T's the 20th, 2 plus 0 is 2. It's the same thing with the word police. Police is going to be 33. P's the 16th letter, 1 plus 6 is 7. O the 15th, L the 12th. See how we break it down? I the 9th. Make each one a single digit. If you do it with the alphabetic order, you're going to get a bigger number. Because this way you just use the alphabet. P's 16, O's 15, L's 12, I's 9, C's 3, E's 5. Add it up. The two methods, this is always true. This is how you know you did your math wrong if you do it by hand. The two methods, English reduction, English ordinal, the alphabetic order and compressing the letters, they're always going to have the same numerology. 3 plus 3 is 6 for 33. 6 plus 0 is 6. True for any word. Always going to break down to the same numerology. So I'll link this website. Here's another website that'll be your friend. The Number Empire. This one, you punch in a number, it tells you everything about it. I just told you how September 11th to February 26, 1993 is 3,119 days. It's the 444th prime. See, it's all true. I'll never lie to you on here. If you want to verify days very quickly, you want the time and date calculator, I'll just link all of this in the description. I'll put a little section down there. I'll say Gematria Homework Box Kit, and I'll link all the tools you need. So look, February 26, 1993, the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas came out that day. Personally, one of my favorite movies all time. From 93 World Trade Center bombing to September 11th, 3,119 days. And here, the last thing you need to know. There's another method called English Sumerian. This multiplies every letter times 6. So English Sumerian police will be 360. You see that? The word Masonic sums to 444. In this method, in simple English gematria using the alphabetic order, Masonic sums to 74. New York City, where the World Trade Centers are, on the 74th meridian. 93 World Trade Center bombing, 9/11, by the numbers. And that officer here, we talked about how he was killed on a date with 93 numerology. It was also a date with 74 numerology. 9 plus 11 is 20, plus 54, 74. Also fair. So anyway, here, one more tool. Gematrix.org, this website, I have ruined this website. It seems that they've upgraded here in the last couple weeks, but, well, I shouldn't say I've ruined the website, but by promoting this website, I made this website almost non-functional. A lot of people I know started using this because all of a sudden it hardly worked. You had to refresh it 20 times to get it to load the word, plus it took forever. But it seems to be working okay right now. I think they upgraded so it can handle it. This website's cool because it gives you 3 important gematria methods. It does not do Pythagorean gematria. Notice how police equals 33 is not up here. I wish this calculator had this website. If it did, I would use it all the time. But it does show you the Sumerian gematria, as it's called on this calculator. English ordinal is the same as simple English gematria on here from the calculators. And English Sumerian on here is the same as English gematria. You see? What you also want to study is Jewish gematria. They code 147 on police a ton too. The Blue Lives Matter bill this day was signed on the 147th day of the year. If I remember right, that's May 26th. Yeah, this year was a leap year. It was signed this year. May 26th was the 147th day of the year, like police. Blue Lives Matter, where we began. Show you this date in numerology. You know, you write it out like this. If you add it all up, sums to 67, just like today's date. Today's this. See that? Blue Lives Matter. One last thing to tell you. You're going to type in Blue Lives Matter and you're going to think I lied to you. Blue Lives Matter here says it sums to 58, like Freemasonry, like secret society. They all sum to 58. However, what this calculator does not take into account, S, special letter. S is the 19th letter. 1 plus 9 becomes 10. 1 plus 0 becomes 1. S is the only letter in the entire alphabet that you have to add 2 times to get to a single digit. S can be worth 10 or 1. On this calculator, S is always worth 1. If you make it worth 10, it's plus 9 for each S. Blue Lives Matter 67. Very important note. You want to know these things. I think we covered it all, Truth Seeker, plus more. So please use the knowledge. Please use the lesson. I'm going to link this description down there. You know, start your own Gematria blog. Let this be your first post. Show your friends what's going on in the world. Show your friends and family what our tax dollars are going to. You know, fake reported deaths, police officers, Freemasons selling us out. Of all races, of all religions. Freemasonry, it's worldwide. It's running the show. They believe in order out of chaos, divide and conquer. You don't think Freemasons started this nation? Let's close out with one more. We're having too much fun here. United States of America, 84. Divide and conquer. 84. Order out of chaos. 75. But how many S's are there in order out of chaos? There's 1, so plus 9 more, 84. You see? United States of America, divide and conquer, order out of chaos. You ever seen the show The Twilight Zone? 84. The man who wrote that show, Serling. The show came out in 58, the pilot episode. It's about putting a man on the moon. That's the same year NASA came out. Freemasonry, secret society, 58. Everyone in NASA, for the most part, Freemasons. The word science also equals 58. Freemasons pride themselves on being the keepers of knowledge. States has Gematria of 84 in simple English. Jesuit, the Masonic secret order with inside the Catholic Church, all part of this New World Order Illuminati network. Freemasonry, Zionism, Jesuits, all under the same umbrella. They're all coding out using this knowledge. So there's what really happened in San Antonio. Just got sold out by the numbers, you know. Racial stereotypes, blaming someone, putting out a race, a vague description. How many people in San Antonio are going to see the news and, you know, see a slim black man and think that the news is real and then use the racial stereotypes programmed in them to create a needless altercation, a needless 911 phone call, a needless set of eyeballs staring at someone, you know, the types of things that happen in this world. So there it is, Truth Seeker. Until next time.